And good morning. Welcome to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. I'm your host, Stan Salt, and Naomi Tucker's by the paddock. We'll get to her in a couple seconds. A huge Friday on tap for you here today at Laurel Park. 3 monster carryovers and at Stronach 5. Let's welcome in Naomi Tucker. Beautiful weather today. Main track is fast. Turf listed as yielding right now. We'll get to more of that, but the Stronach 5 is back, Naomi. Good to see you. Good to be back here for our second week of live racing for the big summer meet. All the Maryland racing fans tuned in last week and they were watching on our live stream or your favorite ADW, Express Bet or First Bet. We had a monster opening weekend. Thank you to all our loyal, dedicated Maryland racing fans and our fans from coast to coast, probably a bunch of new fans. And the Stronach 5's back, the popular national wager, a lot of national attention right here at Laurel Park. The Stronach 5 starts in race 7. Naomi, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Dan. How are you doing?
All right, doing well. Excited to be back and need a big score and, well, plenty of opportunities today. Let's show you what's going on with this Stronach 5, okay? It's a guaranteed $100,000 pool. There it is, guaranteed $100,000. Now, they bet about $150,000, $200,000 normally into this. There's the lineup. We start Maryland Jockey Club, Laurel Park, race 7. Then leg B is race 9 at Gulfstream. Leg C right back here, Laurel Park, race 8. And then leg D is Golden Gate Fields, race 3. Leg E is Santa Anita Park, race 4. So there it is, industry low, 12% takeout on this Stronach 5. There's the line, there's the post times with the lineups, okay? And we have I have a ticket. Naomi has a ticket. Everybody should have a ticket. Grab some friends, throw some money together, play a big ticket. This thing's paid big week after week and great value because it's a little harder to hit, Naomi. It's a $1 minimum wager. Most your multi-race wagers, all your multi-race wagers here at Laurel Park, you can bet for 50 cents. The Stronach 5's a little harder to hit, being that it's a $1 minimum wager, but that makes it a bigger payout when you do hit it. Your thoughts today on the big Stronach 5, Naomi?
Well, let me first of all say that, as you mentioned, industry low 12% takeout, but as well that this is coined as the best bet in racing by my friends at In the Money Media, Jonathan Kinchin and Peter Fornatel, because, as you mentioned, that $1 minimum, that actually means that a lot of the big computer bettors, so people that use computer programs to bet, can't possibly cover every single combination and still have some sort of value because of that higher sort of minimum bet format. So that actually works really well for the sort of normal punters like us that are trying to take a shot. So yes, it requires a little bit more investment, but you really do get a bit of bang for your buck.
All right, good stuff. We'll show you our tickets later on, but real quick, I like the 8-1 shot, the Cairo Kid, to lead it off now. Leg C, that's race 8 here at Laurel Park. We've had a very interesting development in leg C. That's Laurel Park, race 8. Let me just tell you about that real quick because the 10 make a stand. The 10 make a stand's a late scratch. So therefore, a horse draws in off the also eligible who's going to be the favorite. The 14, J. Bearford's Tipton, the 4-year-old by Animal Kingdom for trainer Arnaud Delacour, draws in off the AE. Gets Trevor McCarthy. McCarthy with 4 wins last weekend. So please note leg C. That's Laurel Park, race 8. The 14, the J. Bearford's Tipton, draws in off the AE, and that horse will be the favorite. Leg C, Laurel Park, race 8. So make sure you take note of that. Let's show you about our 3 big carryovers we have here, starting with the late pick 5. That starts race 5 today, a big monster carryover. There it is, Naomi, over 73,000 with that industry low 12% takeout. That's going to be well played. That's going to be around 250,000, I think, when it's all said and done. So start getting your tickets ready now. Late pick 5 starts race 5 on the 9-race program. Also nice carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6. Rainbow Pick 6, that's going to start race 4 on the 9-race program. There's a carryover, $31,438. Naomi has a ticket for the Pick 6. I have a ticket for the late Pick 5. We also have a nice carryover in the Rolling Super High 5. That's almost $31,000. That starts race 1, a very playable 7-horse field, no scratches. Super High 5 is going to get hammered here in race 1. That also features a low 15% takeout. Now, let's show you the track and weather conditions. Beautiful weather right now. The main track is fast. However, I guess we had some rain yesterday or some rain overnight. The turf listed as yielding as we kick off today. Temperature about 80 degrees. The winds, not much going on with the wind. South wind at almost 7 miles an hour. So if the turf course changes, we'll keep you updated, but we're going to start off fast and yielding. You can bet all the action on First Bet. Okay, you get a $10 credit, $500 bonus on First Bet when you use promo code Sport of Kings. First Bet users have free access to the best features in horse racing, including seamless wagering interface, AI-enhanced algorithms to help you make smarter picks, real-time stats and probabilities, betting, live video, and replays for more than 300 tracks on First Bet. So you can bet all the action here at Laurel Park on First Bet. Let's get right to it, Naomi, right? Big 9-race car. We got lots of videos and good stuff. Let's get right to it here. Race 1. Now, Race 1's going to start that rolling super high five. There's the carryover. They're almost 31,000 in that super high five, and a very playable 7-horse field here in Race 1. Race 1 also kicks off the popular early Pick 5. The early Pick 5 paid big a couple times last week, and I think it paid around $7,100 one day last week. It's a mandatory payout on this early Pick 5 at an industry low 12% takeout. I don't have a ticket today on the early Pick 5. I'm waiting for that late Pick 5, that big carryover in the Stronach 5. So here we go. Race 1, 6 furlongs on the main track, claiming 5,003 and up. Never won 3 or straight 3-year-olds, and I go with the 1. I'm hoping the 1, Lucky Jr., gets a perfect setup because there is some early speed in this race, Naomi. You get Trevor McCarthy aboard for Hammy Smith. They both had a decent opening weekend. Lucky Jr., a good second last time out to Baron of Bluegrass, who won last weekend. So that's what turned me on to the 1, Lucky Jr. I'm hoping he gets the right setup. I'm hoping he's not too far back today. Your thoughts on my top pick, and you use him a little bit. It looks like we both have the same 4 numbers here in the opener.
I like the number 1 Lucky Jr. as well, a little bit indeed. And as you mentioned, he is a closer. I'm hoping he's not going to get too crowded jumping from that 1 gate. Do think Trevor McCarthy knows how to get a horse out of trouble and make sure that they get a clean trip. But I do think, looking back at his last 2 races, I actually looked at the 27th of February, he breaks slow. He's a typical closer. He doesn't get out of the gate that fast, and I'm just worried that he might leave himself a bit too much to do late because this is 6 furlong sprinting.
Yep, sure. All right, so he's going to have to have a good trip and be right there turning for home. Your top pick, Fort Royal for Mark Reed. Weston Hamilton had that big long shot winner for Hassan Al-Amri last weekend. Weston, he'll have a big summer meet. This horse taking a drop in class. Last couple haven't been very good since Mark Reed claimed this horse, but gets a class relief today. You think that's going to be the key?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be the key to 5 Fort Royal. The reason I like this horse here is because I feel like he has a little bit of a more flexible running style. I think he can go to the front, but I think he's also happened to sort of sit off the speed, and I'm hoping that that means that even though there is a fair bit of speed in this race, he's not going to get caught up in any weird strong pace duel and wear himself out. At least that is my theory, and I'm hoping that it's going to work out like that.
All right, so we both like the same 4. The 2 here, Air on Fire, is going to be one of the favorites. You get 7 pounds off the apprentice Charlie Marquez. This horse, a big effort last summer up there at Saratoga, but then had a bunch of time off. An okay third when we saw the horse back in March at this level, at the $5,000 level. That was with Linda Rice. Now in the Damon Dill DeVico barn, you get the Charlie Marquez. He was hot before the break. He was had a goose egg on opening weekend, but he'll start winning some races. The 2 should be live here. Air on Fire is going to be one of your favorites.
Yeah, I do think that he's got the speed to move forward, and he likes to go fast at the beginning, and especially 6 furlong. I don't mind that. As you mentioned, Charlie Marquez hasn't been able to get any luck just yet, and Damon de Ludovico is also 0 from 6 at the moment, but I do think that he's going to break that streak pretty soon because I very much like Damon as a trainer. I think he knows how to get his horses ready, so that might just have been a little bit of bad luck. And looking at this horse, he breaks averagely, and in his last race, he just got that leading pair, Shadow Boxer and Baron of Bluegrass, that set a really, really hot pace, and he was chasing and he closed well, so I used him on my ticket as well.
All right, so I go with the 1, Lucky Jr. You have the 5 on top there, Fort Royal. We both pick against the 9-5 morning line favorite here, Big Boots. I used the horse, so we both picked the horse third. They ran a good third, 2 starts back. Not so good March 15th, but it is taking a drop in class today, but we both pick against the favorite in race 1.
Well, he is going to do well in this spot. Like you mentioned, he is going into a bit of a easier level for him here. Big boots, Avery Wisman on board. Now, Kieran McGee hasn't started off as well as we thought he would. He's 2 in the money from 8 starts, so absolutely not disgraced, but I knew that he led his horses up a little bit on his farm, and I thought possibly freshening up these horses means that they're going to do a little bit better than they have so far. But not to worry, he is a horse that I think is going to do very well in here. Like you mentioned, we both pick against him because I just think that possibly in terms of the way that the race is going to play out, there might be others that can do a little bit better. But in his last race, he sat in the middle. Did think he left himself with a bit too much to do. I think he's going to be handier, more tactically placed here today.
All right, it's a very playable 7-horse field for this big rolling super high 5 here in race 1. If they don't hit it in race 1, it'll carry over to the second race. Let's take a look here. Race 2. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. We're on the turf, 5.5 furlongs here on the turf. Maiden claiming $25,000 for filly mares 3 and up. We're on the Exceller turf course here in race 2 on the Exceller with the rail at 70 feet. I think this race is wide open, Naomi. I couldn't get inspired about anybody on paper. I really couldn't. Let's start with the 4, Old Line Magic. We have a video on the 4, Old Line Magic. Here's a little over a year ago, April 2019. In his debut, he rallied to finish a real good second this day. Right, Old Line Magic is... okay, here we go. Here we're going to the second finish line. Here he comes in the Wasabi Ventures colors, flying on the inside, and a real good second there for Old Line Magic. That was over a year ago. Now, since then, he's been running against Maiden 40, Maiden Special Weight. This will be her 4-year-old debut, 4-year-old daughter of Street Magician for Wasabi and Dorothy Wharton. Rosario Montanez had a couple winners last weekend, so he's a live jock. I didn't use the 4 at all. Nothing inspires me on paper. I just went for big prices across the board here in race 2. You have the 4 a little bit though in your picks.
I thought that was a good effort, and we didn't show the entire race. Don't have time for that, I'm afraid. But he jumped well, and he was asked to move forward and sat quite handily. Then there was a little bit of traffic. She had to sort of switch around a little bit, and then that was a really good closing kick on the inside, and especially on the turf. I like them to have that ability to accelerate, and she showed that. And yes, this is an interesting race. I think that for the distance, there isn't as much speed as you would expect. I think probably the 3 might go and move forward, and the 5 might move up as well. But there's a lot of closes in this field, so I think it's going to be quite an interesting finish, to say the least.
The morning line favors the 13 Queen of Tomorrow. First off the claim for Claudio Gonzalez. That filly by Bandbox. She's 9-2 with Alex Cintron. You pick her third. I'm against her altogether. She's making her turf debut, so a question there. And she might get parked wide on that far turn, breaking from the 13 hole. I go with the longest shot in the field on the morning line, 20-1 on the 8 Bottle Courage, and she might be all of 30, 40-1 when it's all said and done, but that's okay. She's getting a little class relief, and just like the favorite and just like others in here, she's making her turf debut. She's by Bourbon Courage. Now, the dam, after all, she was okay. She didn't run on the turf, but she's been a solid producer. Her offspring's made some money. She's the dam of Scrap Copper, who was a nice horse around here. And one of her horses did win sprinting on the turf. This dam, after all, has produced a turf sprint winner. So I'll take a shot here with Bottle Courage, a nice 48-2, May 14th here at Laurel. Angel Cruz, a very capable veteran rider from a very capable veteran barn here, Donnie Barr. So I'm going to get a big price, and you're helping me out, Naomi, because you don't use the filly at all, so that's okay. That means she might be about 40, 50-1.
Well, the 8 Bottle Courage, I actually had a look at her race 2 back because it said that she just didn't have the best of start, and she didn't get the best of trip. So I had a look. She indeed got bumped sideways at the start, and she lost a fair bit of ground doing so. So that sort of helps her cause. And she was under a little bit of pressure back in the rear. I thought she was receiving a lot of kickback. And now with these fillies, I do think that can really put them off a little bit. If they're receiving a lot of kickback, not all the horses like that, especially fillies being a little bit more sensitive. Now, going on the turf, the kickback is still there, but a little bit less hard. I've ridden on turf and dirt as an exercise rider both myself, and I definitely would prefer a turf kickback over that dirt in your face.
All right, so I'll take a shot with the 8 Bottle Courage at a big price. Your top pick, the 9 Rockin' and a Rollin'. Second off the claim for Mark Reed. Julio Correa will ride. Looks like this filly's going to have some speed. She has early speed on the dirt at least.
Yeah, she does. And as you mentioned, there's a few here making their debut on the turf. So it's going to be interesting to see which of the fillies really are going to take to it. But she's shown a fair bit of early speed. And I really think that that can be key in this race, that there just isn't as much speed on paper. Possibly she can go to the front and enjoy it up there. I think that last time, I looked at 2 races back, I tend to sort of look at the race I find most interesting or most key to their form. And she showed a lot of speed there. And she just faded a little bit on the dirt, which I think won't be the case as much on the turf, because that's just a little bit more forgiving in terms of giving horses that energy back instead of the turf that is just does wear them out of quite a bit.
All right, well, I'll help you out and try to get you a nice price there on the 9 Rockin' and a Roll. And look at her picks. We're all over the place in race 2. Look for some long shot payouts in race 2. It has blow up written all over. Let's turn the page here. Race 3, we're back on the main track, going a flat mile, claiming 5,000 filly mares 3 and up. Haven't won a race in 6 months, never won 4. Those are the conditions. I go with one of the favorites here, the 4 Cash Register. You have this 5-year-old mare by the Factor on top as well. A big effort back on March 15th, going a mile against Open Nickel. That was against Wide Open, claiming 5,000, and a real big second that day. She was on the lead and just got a little tired and finished a good second, decent by her speed figure. Now she catches a beaten nickel spot today. That's an easier race than the Open Nickel, and you're getting 7 pounds off with Carlos Marquez. She's a 3-time winner going a flat mile, so we both like the 4 Cash Register on top here for Robbie Bales.
I think Cash Register has a lot of early speed and probably is going to try and move up. And looking at her last race, she actually started swerving a little bit when she was on her own in front, because there wasn't really anyone to keep her company. So I'm hoping she's going to be slightly bit more forward here today. Looking at her work isn't as flashy, but I saw her on the 15th of May, and one of my notes was that she looked very happy. A little bit more of a sprinter action. I thought that also explains that early speed that she seems to project here. But I like the way she looked. Possibly not a typical miler type of horse, even though she's done well over the mile. She just didn't look like that type of horse to me, but she's proven that she can stay.
All right, so we both have the 4 Cash Register on top. We both like the entry here, the 2 Holla Princess, the 2X for Jamie Ness. This 6-year-old mare by Adios Charlie. She's a 6-time winner, 3-time winner going a mile. She's been right there, beaten favored at this level at this beaten nickel level, beaten favored back in March, but she figures to be right there. Ness had a win last week, and you get McCarthy, and it looks like the 2X Holla Princess completes a strong entry.
Well, I think it's interesting because McCarthy was named on both Holla Princess and Heatherly and opted to ride Holla Princess instead. I do believe it's Kevin Gomez on board of Heatherly now, and I thought that was an interesting. I like them both. I thought they were both good, both fillies that have a chance in this race, and Trevor opting to ride the 2X, that should at least make a difference for a fair few people.
Okay, and we both like the 7. Let me slide by you for Kieran. Avery Wisman rides an okay 4th against Open 8,000 back in early February. A couple recent works in May at Pimlico for Kieran. This mare, she's a 4-time winner at Laurel Park. She's getting a drop in class today. She's been running against Open Nickel, Open 8, starter allowance. She had a good second here at Laurel last November. That was against Open 8,000. So she's capable, I think, at this level. At this level, we both use her.
I used her because I think that she's a little bit more of a horse that will sit mid-pack. Let Me Slide By You comes with a nice closing run, showed that she's able to do it. She broke a little bit outward, but she continued moving forward in her last start. She dropped back straight away, and she really looked like she was completely out of the race. If you look at it, it says 12 lengths off, and I had a look, and it just looked like she would have no chance whatsoever. But then she came running, and she bypassed the faders, and I thought that was a strong effort. I just hope she doesn't leave herself with too much to do. It's something I've mentioned a couple of times before. I like horses with a closing kick, but if they are not in the race, you just can't make up all that ground.
All right, so we both have the 4. Let's get Cash Register on top here in race 4. All right, let's get to a nice big carryover here. Race 4 to kick off to Rainbow Pick 6, over 31,000. Let's show you the number, $31,438 today for this Rainbow Pick 6. Naomi, you have a ticket. Let's check it out and see how you play it.
I do indeed. I'm quite spready in this ticket, as you can see. My only single comes in race 8, but in race 4 I use the 1, the 4, the 7, and the 9. And the 9 is my top pick in this race. Galerio, Claudio Gonzalez, Alex Cintron. Just a really big horse that likes to go this distance, really good long stride on him, and he just keeps finding it. I thought he was so game when he dueled in his last race. And then in race 5, I used the 2, the 3, and the 6, and the number 2, Bell Mullet is my pick here. He had a white draw 2 back, but he moved forward strongly, and it just looked like this horse has so much speed and does that with so much ease to cross over and still get himself in a good position, and I really appreciate that in a horse. In race 6, the 5, the 8, and the 10, and I do believe that spreading out hopefully means I'm going to have a bit of a shot at actually hitting this. I ended up using the 10 on top, which is Bullet Chow, the horse that last time I saw I thought, wow, he looks like your typical sprinter. This is a tough race. I think the number 10, Ziggy Mon, also looked really, really good in the morning. Has just been working so strongly, and he's for you, McMahon, who has been hitting 29% winners over the last 3 opening days, so really do bear that in mind. And race 7, I used the 3, the 10, and 11 Armado special weight. I think this is a tricky race. I do hope that those 3 numbers are going to help me out here. And then in race 8, I use the number 14 as my single. We talked about him before. He's the horse that drew in here on the turf. Jay Beresford Tipton, Trevor McCarthy on board, who rode a triple the other day. Arnaud Delacour trains, who knows how to condition turf horses. A horse with just a really good closing style, really good kick. I don't like the draw as much, but because he's more of a closing type horse, I'm hoping that he's not going to get into too much trouble and he can just slot back in without losing too much ground. And then in the last race of the sequence, I used the 6 and the 9. I have the 6, on top here, but he's run lots of speed. Claudio Gonzalez again. I also think that he's flexible enough not to need the lead. I really liked his race 2 back over 6 furlong at Laurel. He just kept on coming, and he really is able to take back, be comfortable, and then start closing and go by anyone that's in his way.
All right, so there you go, $43.20 play for your Rainbow Pick 6. All of our tickets and picks for today are on the website, laurelpark.com, underneath the handicapping section. Let's take a look here. Race 4, I have a best bet of the day here in race 4. We're going a mile on the dirt, 25,000 starter allowance, 3 and up. Number 1, 3 is the condition. The 9, Galerio, is going to be awfully tough to beat. 2-1 here. Alex Cintron rides this 4-year-old by Jumpstart for trainer Claudio Gonzalez. Let's show you the last race, March 14th, right here at Laurel Park, following his big maiden special weight win, going 6.5 furlongs, stretched out to a mile this day on March 14th, and second turner for home after a wide trip is going to get up for a game win. Galerio, this was a 25,000 starter allowance, 2 life, facing 3 life company today. So Claudio has this Maryland bred in good form. Cintron looking for the winner's circle. He's live here, very live on the 9, Galerio. I made Galerio my best bet of the day, and you have him on top as well, Naomi.
It's very hard not to like a horse that closes as well as Galerio does, but also has a bit of tactical speed to place himself well. And I really, really believe that this is just a perfect spot for him. And you mentioned he went a mile last time. And it's interesting because sometimes with Claudio's horses, when they're stretching out, you're wondering if they're going to stay the distance. But he tends to condition them well, and they always seem to at least give it a very good try, and sometimes just come up empty at the end, but not as often. So I trust him when it comes to these routes.
All right, now the 4 I didn't get to. You have the 4 in your exact. The Ben and Joe's 10-1 morning line for Hugh McMahon. Charlie Marquez will ride. This horse has some early speed, a good third at this level last out. I didn't use them at all. I might have overlooked them a bit. Your thoughts here on Ben and Joe?
I think that the number 4 Ben and Joe is interesting because he breaks average. He moves up in this last race, courtesy of that inside draw that he doesn't have here today. But I did think he just went a little bit too quick up front, and I used a little bit too much energy there. He keeps on finding, though. I liked his stride. I think it's a good long stride, and he comes up against Paul the Waiter in this spot again. But I think that his run was better than Paul the Waiter because Paul the Waiter was just a little bit further back away from that pace, and Ben and Joe just took a lot more heat up front.
All right, so I overlooked Ben and Joe a little bit. Let's see if we can get Galerio home here in race 4. He's my best bet of the day. Race 4, nice starter allowance to kick off the pick 6. Let's get a quick commercial break. When we come back, the big carryover of the day, late pick 5 starting race 5, over 73,000 with that industry low 12% takeout. I have a ticket for the late pick 5. Both Naomi and I have tickets for the Stronach 5 starting in race 7. All of that right after this.
Charge from long shot over the inside 2, but nothing stood in his way. Laurel will win the Preakness.
Get 'em up, high, put 'em up, high. We waking up, high with my dogs, riding high when we pull up, high with my dogs, riding high.
All right, welcome back. Let's get tied on here for the late pick 5, starting race 5, big carryover. Let's show you. There we go, 73,628. This is going to be well played. They hammered the multi-race wagers last weekend, especially the pick 5s. I think this is going to be around 200,000, maybe 250,000 when it's all said and done today for our late pick 5 starting race 5. I have a ticket. Let's take a look here. Very affordable, $48 ticket. You can study this ticket some more on our website, laurelpark.com. Underneath the handicapping section, race 5. I'm 4 deep here in this race. And I have the 6 on top, ready to run, who's 9-5. But I also like the 5, Taskiness, an Eagle Point Farm homebred for Robbie Bales and Rosario Montanez. I think Taskiness, a 3-year-old by Orientate, I think he's live getting back on the turf today. So, and then I also used the 2 and the 3, 4-1, 6-1. But I like that 5, Taskiness, a big 10-1 there in race 5. Now, race 6, starter allowance, 5.5 on the main track. My top pick is the 10 Ziggy Mon, but I'm also 4 deep in this race. The 2 Revolutionary Road is a big 12-1. So that's with Rosario Montanez. I got Montanez on a couple live long shots here in races 5 and 6. Race 7, one of our features of the day, a maiden special weight, 3 and up, 5.5 on the turf. I'm 3 deep here. I have the 3, the Cairo Kid, on top. Hopefully he can show that speed on the dirt. A lot of early speed for this 4-year-old by Cairo Prince. Hopefully he can show that speed on the turf today with Katie Davis aboard for Annette Eubanks. So I like the 3, the Cairo Kid at 8-1, the 10 Bulow Pops, and the 11 Francatelli. There'll be a couple favorites in there in race 7. Race 8, nice starter allowance going a mile and a 16th. No, I'm sorry, that's Gulfstream. That's leg B of the Stronach 5. I got all my Stronach 5 races in here. Race 8 is right here at Laurel Park. That's a nice allowance going 2 turns on the turf. And my original top pick in there was the 4, Joe's Bold Cat. Pimentel aboard for Kelly Rubley, but we had a late scratch takeout. I believe it was the 10. The 10, Make a Stand, scratch. So the 14, Jay Barefords Tipton, draws in off the AE. McCarthy aboard for Delacour. So I'm 4-14 in race 8. And my the finale, Laurel, race 9. Nice allowance race on the main track going a mile. I single on the Bernard Dunham runner. Can't pass it up with Fergal Lynch aboard. So there's my ticket, $48 ticket. Let's see if I can get live here in race 5. Race 5, we're 5.5 furlongs on the bowl game turf course rail at 17 feet, claiming 16,000, 3 and up. Never won 2 lifetime. Let's take a look here at our picks. The 6, Ready to Run's your 9-5 morning line favorite for Kieran, Alex Centron. They're both looking for their first win. This horse had a nice win last summer, maiden 40 sprinting on the turf. That was first off the claim. Got a big 75 buyer speed figure that day. Broke from the 1 hole in a 9-horse field and went right to the front. So now he's making his 4-year-old debut today by Runaway and Hyde, who was undefeated 3 for 3, retired after he won the Grade 2 Saratoga Special as a 2-year-old. So this is this horse, if he's sharp and ready to go with Alex Centron, he'll be tough. I put him on top.
I like the number 6, Ready to Run as well. Don't put him on top, but use him in second. And he has a lot of speed. I looked at his race on the 28th of June, 5.5 turf. I think that's the one you mentioned as well. He had the inside draw there, and hence he just went straight to the front. No energy used to move over. So it's a slight downgrade. I thought it was a strong race for him because he kept on going, and even the closers couldn't catch him. So it was a good race, but I do think that he was helped by the fact that there wasn't as much speed to challenge him, and he didn't have to move over. Now here, the draw 6 does probably have to use a little bit of energy to go up to the front, but I like him a fair bit in here.
All right, so we both used the 6. Now you have the 2 on top. Bell Mullet. We have a video spotlight to show you for Bell Mullet. Last October, 5.5 on the turf here at Laurel. Maiden claiming 16,000, and here they are. Bell Mullet's on the outside as they go into the far turn. He's going to go right to the front here. In this race, he's going to open up by 4.5, turning for home. He wins by a length and 3/4, gets a 60 Beyer speed figure, and here they are in deep stretch. Bell Mullet, an easy winner last October to break his maiden. We haven't seen him on the turf since then, so I'm sure Mark Reed's been anxious to get this 4-year-old son of City Zip back on the turf today. Julio Correa will ride. Your thoughts here? You have the 2 Bell Mullet on top, Naomi.
Well, Stan, I picked him based off that replay we just showed. That was not an easy race for him. He had to keep working to get to the front. As you can see, continuous pressure. He was wide. He kept going, then moved to the front, and then sort of rebroke again to keep on finding. And I know it's a 60 Beyer, but in my books, you can upgrade him a little bit off that because that just showed so much heart, lots of speed. I like the way he carried himself. I like the way he just kept on going with that speed, and especially around that corner, you can see he was leaning into that corner and ready to go.
All right, so I used the 2 Bell Mullet. He'll be about 4-1. Now, my price play here, race 5 to kick off this big late pick 5. The 5 Taskiness is 10-1 morning line. 3-year-old by Orientate, a homebred for Eagle Point Farm and trainer Robbie Bales. I remember this dam, Toccoa. She was a hard-knocking runner down there at Colonial. She won dirt, turf, didn't matter. She was a runner. She made over 100,000. She's thrown a couple other nice runners as well. Now, this horse was in sharp form last winter. Broke the maiden on the dirt. Good second against Starter Allowance sprinting on the dirt. The lone turf try came last September. That was the horse's first start ever. It was a 2-year-old. It was a stake race, so just forget about that. He's a better animal now, and a nice 5 furlong workout, 102 late May. That was following a Bullet 47-3 workout here at Laurel Park. So I'm hoping Robbie Bales has the 5 Taskiness sharp and ready to roll. Montanez scored on a couple nice price winners last weekend, so maybe he can get me live here with a big $22 winner Taskiness to kick off this late pick 5. I use them second. Your thoughts here on the 5 Taskiness?
You might be onto something there, Stan. Really like that workout, like you mentioned. Bullet workout. Shows tactical speed in his last race on dirt. Tactical speed enough in this field anyway. I don't think there's a lot of sort of out-and-out front runners in this. I think that Taskiness can move and sit handily. Looked at that race on turf, that debut. As you mentioned, he was a youngster. He didn't know exactly what he was doing, and that was just a bit tough for him as well in that stakes company.
Sure. All right. So a nice little turf sprint to kick off this late pick 5. Let's roll along. We got to get to the Stronach 5, race 7, but race 6 will kick off the late pick 4. We're going 5.5 furlongs, 25,000 starter allowance, 3 and up. Never won 3. Take out the 3 and the 4 from this race. We both like a 10-8, 8-10 on top. We both like the 5 as well. The 10 Ziggy Mon for Hugh McMahon in sharp form last February. Toledo, a 5-win weekend last week in Toledo. Your leading rider after opening weekend in McMahon Barn. They had 2 wins and 6 out of 7 in the money. Ziggy Mon going to show speed on the outside. Been working some sharp half-mile works here at Laurel Park. This horse, 5 for 7 in the money here at Laurel Park. So I think the 10 Ziggy Mon is going to be awfully tough for hot connections on the outside.
Yeah, he definitely will be tough to beat. I ended up putting him in second just because I love the way Bullet Child looked last time I saw him here on the Laurel Park surface. But Zigmon in the morning, his 15th May, as you can tell, I was there that day. He did 48 and 4 in hand, well held. Could have gone a mile like that. My notes were thumbs up. Definitely use this horse next time out. So it's going to be an interesting one because he shows a lot of speed and so does the 8.
All right, so okay, let's talk about you talked about Bullet's Child. I like this horse, by Freedom Child, lightly raced 5-year-old. He's been well managed by Damon and the owner, breeder Caramanos, has been aboard all 4 starts. He has a lot of early speed. If he's ready to go, he'll be dangerous. So 8-10 for you, 10-8 for me. We both like the 5. Will make you happy. We have a video spotlight to show you on Will Make You Happy. It's an undefeated 4-year-old by Speightstown. Here's the break on late February. This was the second start. He won his debut for maiden 16, And then this was stepping up to starter allowance late February. He duels for the lead down the backstretch, right? That didn't take much out of him. He's 5 in front here. He wins by 5 1/4, 79 Buyer's speed figure, so we'll make you happy. By Spikestown, he looks like a runner for Cal Lynch. The X-Man had a 2-win day last weekend here at Laurel Park. So this horse will be tough. He's lightly raced as well. He's facing some tougher horses today, so a little tougher test. Maybe he's lightly raced for a reason. We'll see. But we both used the 5. I have him on my late pick 5. I'm 4 deep with the 2, 5, 8, 10 in this race.
Well, this is a tough race. There is a lot of speed in here. As we mentioned, the 10 likes to go forward, the 8 likes to go forward, and so does the 5, because he was certainly rushed up from the gate to make that lead. But then he just kept on going, and especially for a horse on its second start. Now, I know he's a 4-year-old now, and he was a 4-year-old in that second start. He did that very, very gamely. That was a professional effort from a horse that was under a lot of pressure from the get-go, but just wouldn't back down.
All right, so nice little starter allowance sprint here. Race 6 to kick off the late pick 4. We both like Bullet's Child and Ziggy Mine on top. Let's turn the page. Here we go. Race 7 kicks off that popular national wager, the Stronach 5, with that guaranteed $100,000 pool. Here's the lineup. Laurel Park, race 7 kicks it off at about 3:51 Eastern time. Then leg B, Gulfstream Park, race 9. Leg C's Laurel, race 8. Leg D, Golden Gate Fields, race 3. Then leg E, Santa Anita Park, race 4. Guaranteed $100,000 pool and an industry low 12% takeout. Naomi, you have a ticket. Let's check out your ticket. Tell us how you played it real quick. We got about 4 minutes to go. Talk us through your ticket.
I'll be very quick. This first leg here at Laurel Park, main in special weight, sprinting distance on the turf. I like the 3, the 10, and the 11. Really think the 10, Abuelo Paps, can possibly enjoy this setup because he set the pace very gamely last time. Now, my single comes in Gulfstream Park. A lot of speed in this race, so I ended up on the number 7, Love Nest, for Rashawn Craig, who can comfortably sit back and make a move on the home turn, and he clicked off some impressive speed figures last time, and I thought that he still kept coming and kept closing, so I'm hoping that he might do something similar today. And then in leg C, that's Laurel Park again, I go very deep. And why? Because I'm hoping to find some value, and I just think that this mile and 16 turf race is a really, really, really strong allowance race. 4, 5, 10, 12, and 14. And then in Golden Gate Fields, leg D, I go the 3 and the 7, and I'm hoping that one of the 2 is going to hit. I had to cut back a little bit in my numbers because these are, you can't put on too many horses on this Stronach 5 because it's the $1 minimum. The number 3, Flying Home, is my top pick. Dropping class, back in distance, I think that's going to suit. And then leg E, Santa Anita Park, I use the 5 and the 6, whereby I have the 5, Kitty Hawk Lass, on top with Umberto Rispoli for Mike Pipey. And Umberto Rispoli, he was a rider up in Hong Kong. I saw him ride there. Very strong rider. Just didn't get as much opportunities. And ever since he's gotten to Santa Anita Park, he has been flying.
All right. Very affordable $60 ticket. Now you're single in leg B at Gulfstream race 9. I didn't use the 7 at all. And you didn't use my single leg D at Golden Gate race 3. You didn't use my single. Maybe I'm a sucker. I single on the even money favorite there for Jonathan Wong. Here's my ticket, $72 ticket, leg A. I like the 3, the Cairo Kid, in front at 8-1, but you have to respect the 10 Abuelo Pops and the 11 Francatelli by City Zip for Cal Lynch, first-time starter. He looks like he's ready to roll. So 3, 10, 11 to kick it off. Leg B, Gulfstream race 9, the 1, the Robert, ridden by my main man, Paco Lopez. Been good to me down there at Gulfstream. The Robert, 3-1 for Lupe Preciado. And then you have the 2, Are You Talking to Me, who's going to be one of your favorites as well. Are You Talking to Me beat the Robert last out. I think both the 1 and the 2 are going to get a nice ground-saving trip there in leg B. You have a horse that's been in sharp form recently, the 7, Love Nest. I didn't use at all. Leg C here at Laurel Park. Nice first level allowance, 2 turns on the turf. Now, my original top pick in this race was the 4, Joe's Bold Cat, who I'm still going to use, and I used that horse as a single on the XB TV Stronach 5 ticket. However, you have to note The 10, Make a Stand, scratches. The 14, Jay Bareford's Tipton, draws in off the AE and will run and will be the favorite with McCarthy aboard for Delacour. So I'm 4 and the 14 there in leg C. I'm gonna single on Jonathan Wong with the even money favorite. The 5, Kayla's Cowgirl. I'm not gonna beat her. They want to win now with this filly. She's dropping from Santa Anita maiden 20 in for the maiden nickel. She's supposed to be in 5 in front, turning for home, get a hot dog, and still win. So I got the even money favorite as my key horse. And that gives me some coverage in leggy. Santa Anita race 4, 2 turns on the turf. 6 deep there. The 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 11. My big price in there is the 11, Doritos Lemon. Lemon Drop Kid trying the turf and long for the first time. An undefeated 4-year-old filly by Lemon Drop Kid. So come on, Doritos Lemon for me and leggy at Santa Anita. Let's take a look here, Naomi. Race 7 at Laurel Park. The first leg of the Stronach 5. We're 5.5 on the turf. A nice maiden special weight 3 and up. And we're on the bowl game turf course, race 7. Bowl game is at 17 feet. All right, now you like the 3 as well. The Cairo Kid for trainer Annette Eubanks, who does a very good job around here. Katie Davis, the rider of this horse, a lot of early speed. 2 big efforts against maiden special weight, sprinting on the dirt. Now we tried the turf for the first time. Hopefully Katie can get a sharp break and go right to the front here on the Cairo Kid. We both like the 3 in this spot.
I like him because I like the cutback in distance for the Cairo Kid. Comes back off that 7 furlong, but started out with 6 furlong and just showed a lot of natural speed there, naturally fast. He did get taken by a closer there, but I think that this might suit him in terms of distance. Of course, I'm not 100% sure about how much he's going to like the turf, but at least distance-wise, he sure will really, really be on the game, on the ball here.
All right, you go with the first-time starter on top, Francatelli for trainer Cal Lynch. The X-Man will ride a bunch of sharp works here for this 3-year-old by City Zip, including a half-mile work on the turf May 31st. So this first-timer looks like he's ready to go. He's going to have to break sharp. He's breaking from the 11 hole, so he better be tied on at the gate here in his debut.
It's going to be tough indeed, but I went on the pedigree side here because on the female side there is a lot of class and a lot of turf. Dam Salary Drive was a stakes winner on turf over the mile and 3rd in the grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks over a mile and 8th on dirt. So it really shows that there's a lot going on in that family. She also ran in the grade 1 Garden City over a mile and 8 on turf at Belmont. So I do think there's a little bit of turf affinity there. And then his half-sister Starving Artist by Painter, very much like that name, 1 over a mile on turf as well. So possibly the sprint distance might be tricky, but to start off with, I think that if this horse has any talent on turf, he will show it today.
All right, so I like the 11. We both like the 10 as well. Abula Pops, a big debut, and then came back with a big effort back in March. A big 77 buyer. This 3-year-old by Shanghai Bobby for Marco Salazar. He's got a bunch of early speed. Horacio Caramanos, if he gets a sharp break, he should be able to dictate the early terms on the outside. He might get a real nice stalking trip here on the 10 of Abula Pops.
I remember his last race maiden special. I remember you were very high on him there, Stam. He really gamely race there. He set the pace. He kept on going. He puts away Zipline to Heaven, who was trying to get to him, and then Wonder Where Craig is, the horse that ended up winning. Just as a really nice horse and probably a better horse on the day, but I liked him. I think he's looked good in the mornings. He has a half brother, Dashing Lou, who also won on turf going long. Now that was claiming level, but at least it shows something is there in the family that could say that the grass might suit him.
All right, so we have the same 3 picks on top here. Race 7, a nice maiden special weight. There'll be a lot of national attention on Race 7 to kick off the Stronach 5. We'll have a monster handle on Race 7. That's going to be a big feature of the day. Let's get to leg C of the Stronach 5. Laurel Park, Race 8 on the turf. First level allowance, 3 and up, a mile and 16th on the turf. Scratch the 10, Make a Stand. The 14, Jay Bareford's Tipton, draws in off the AE, and we both have a cold 14-4-12 on top here. Delacour had a sharp winner last week in here at Laurel Park. In fact, they were 1-2 in the feature, on one of the features last week, and they finished 1-2. Sheldon run with Ode to Joy for Delacour. McCarthy rides this horse, though. Been running well, a decent effort at Tampa. Beaten favorite down there at Tampa. That's okay. Ran a big second at Tampa back in January. Been working well up there at Fair Hill. So hopefully he can break sharp and sitting mid-pack or stalking, be only 2-3 wide into that first turn. Hopefully he doesn't get a horror trip into that first turn and get parked 6-7 wide. That's not going to help him. But you get Trevor McCarthy, one of our top riders, to navigate that situation.
I think it's an interesting race in terms of speed setup, because I think that all of the speed is on the outside, aside from the 14, because he's a closing type horse. But I think that because he doesn't mind dropping back and coming with that late run, possibly he can just get a bit of a sort of an outside trip, not too wide, hopefully, as you mentioned. But I liked him because last race he tried to run into a pace that wasn't as strong, and we know how difficult that can be, even on turf where it seems to be a little bit easier to close into the pace. Now, it wasn't a strong pace, and he actually broke a little bit awkwardly. He broke against the gate, which is not ideal. I hope he's going to get a cleaner break here today, but it can happen to the best of us. I don't hold that against him. And he gradually switches to the rail. He broke from the 6 gate on that day as well. Do you think he hangs towards the right a tiny bit? So I wouldn't mind Travis seeking a little bit of cover with him.
All right, so we have a 14-4-12 trifecta on top here. Let's skip the video on the 7 He's One Wild Dude. We're running out of time, but He's One Wild Dude maybe live at 5-1, a 6-time winner on the Laurel Turf. Let's turn the page here. Laurel Park, race 9 is a nice allowance race. Going a flat mile on the main track, 3 and up. First level allowance condition here. Scratch to 1, Muchacho. Big late scratch there on Muchacho. I go with the 9 on top here. I got the 9. Can't pass it up for Bernard Dunham. Fergal Lynch will ride. This horse in good form. He's a closer. He'll be coming late. You have a speed horse on top. I didn't like Buddy's run on the stretch out. He'll be in front. We'll see if he can get the mile. I go with the 9. Can't pass it up on top.
Yeah, I used the 6 Buddies run because I actually think that big late scratch on the inside, Muchacho, really helps him out. He can possibly be the lone speed, move forward and not be too bothered. Yes, it's a question if he is going to stay to this, but as I mentioned, Claudio has been able to show that he can get horses ready to go a little bit more distance and to stay to distance. Now, of course, that's not always the case, but looking at his race 2 back, I just felt like he did shift a little to the right in the straight, but he kept on going and hit the wire well, so that gave me a tiny bit of confidence that possibly he can stay that mile.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. Mallender will show you that video later on this afternoon. Mallender will be tough for Lacey Gaudet. Nice allowance race to wrap things up. 3 big carryovers. There they are. The big one, late pick 5, starts race 5, over 73,000. Rainbow pick 6, over 31,000. Rolling super high 5, that starts race 1. That's almost 31,000. We're 24 minutes out. Dave Rodman coming up next with scratches and changes. Good luck.